about.
Yes, you do. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Hi everyone, Bethany Wilson here, and this is my assistant, Chris Husband Davison.
Chris Husband Davison.
Yep.
All right.
And this is episode
16.
Yep, we're still in the teens. Ready to answer your burning questions. Not going to waste a lot of time, going to get right to it. I was thinking we were like a week and a half, 2 weeks behind, and I saw that we're almost 3 weeks behind. So I apologize for that, but I've just been super busy, and if you want to lay blame, which I'm absolutely not, you can blame my assistant who decided to no Alyssa
okay.
Alyssa's at
Sorry.
fault here because she decided to gallivant off to Oregon with her dog and enjoy her summer up there with family.
Family. Whatever.
Yeah. Hopefully when she's back, I can get, back on a regular schedule for you guys. Because it's been crazy. And you've been know-how working your own life.
I have my own job.
But no, seriously guys, I do apologize for this being a week later than I wanted it to be. But we're going to get right to your burning questions and post this right away. Ready?
Ready.
All right.
Question number 1 is from Taya.
Taya?
I'm guessing that sounds good. Taya Gavin. Good morning. I have a 10-week-old golden doodle. I've had her for a week. I'm struggling with a very specific thing that I can't figure how to even address. I get her out of the kennel in the morning while I'm turning off the air. Okay, so we can hear. Let's see. I get her out of the kennel in the morning while I'm putting her leash on. She pees no matter where I do it. In the kennel, in the entryway, wherever. Now I've heard, and I believe it may have been from your videos, that I shouldn't carry her to the door and put the leash on outside. I don't start puppy classes until next week. What can I try to do to nip this in the bud?
Okay, a few things.
Nip it! Sorry.
Nip it in the bud.
Oh,
that's right. Yeah,
she's
that's
been
right.
watching for a while.
I was just thinking that was just our lingo, so it didn't even dawn on me. So yeah, okay, 10-week-old golden doodle. Well, first of all, it's a golden doodle, which means it's like this all the time.
Like a rave?
You get like a rave. Yeah, in the crate, whenever the golden doodle sees the human, in that dog's head, it's a rave. Okay, anyway.
Okay.
A rave where she pees everywhere. So yeah, 10 weeks old. I mean, by now the dog is like 13 weeks old, 14 weeks old. So
You're 3 weeks behind.
because I'm behind you. But by now, hopefully that's not so bad. But if it's still happening, here's the thing. I do say, or I definitely have said before, do not carry the dog to the door because it doesn't teach the dog anything about waiting to go outside to potty. However, if this is only happening in the mornings, then I would totally be lenient. I would totally, really, no emotion. Make sure the dog's not exiting the crate. Make sure that they're waiting in the crate. That was the door shutting if it tries to bolt. And then I would just very matter-of-factly and quickly scoop the dog up. No emotion, no petting, just firm, calm, chill, cool as possible, so I don't have pee running down my side. And I would do that for just a few weeks, and then if it didn't settle down, I would look for other areas in that dog's life to help with the pottying. If he or she isn't doing submissive peeing when people come up and pet her, or the rest of the time through the day, and it really is just that morning when she's been holding it all night, that's just what I would do. That would be perfectly fine. But just make sure you are doing a few things. You're not greeting the dog when you see him in the morning. You're not going, hello, oh no, wait, shh, wait. I mean, don't do any of that. I mean, just walk in really calm and firmly, and because the firmer, kind of more authoritative energy you have, the more settled the dog's gonna be. When you go to open the crate, even if she's like just barely sniffing to come out, just shut the door just to kind of settle a bit. Use an old towel. Do not, use some nice bed that you keep having to wash, because it's going to continue to smell like urine no matter what you do. So just use an old towel until that gets under control. Let's see what else. I mean, there are other things that you need to do if the dog is doing submissive peeing when like strangers pet her, or if she's doing that throughout the day as well. So give me some more info on that. But otherwise, that might just happen for a little while. Oh, another thing you can do is make sure the puppy's not having any water 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. And of course, don't do any really rough play, like a lot of exercise right before bedtime. If it's a wild puppy and you feel like it needs a lot of exercise, you could do something different, like maybe give it a piece of ice and see how interested it is in the ice instead of drinking a bunch of water. That's something you could do too. But yeah, I just wouldn't give that puppy any water a few hours before bedtime in the crate, and that could help as well if you're not already doing that. All right, Taya, hopefully that helps.
All right, and hopefully the dog will grow out of it anyway. So
yeah, well, that's what I mean.
As it gets older, be able to hold it
longer. Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next question is Don Frazier. Oh, I thought you looked at me. Don asks, how do you deal with a puppy that growls and starts mouthing when you do something they don't like? I understand if it's a situation that can be avoided, then leave them alone because they're communicating their dislike. But she did it to me when I was giving her a bath and drying her off. She also did it at the vet. These are situations that can't be avoided. How do I respond to her growls and tantrum? Any help would be greatly appreciative.
Does it say how old?
No.
I'd love to know how old this puppy is, because a puppy can mean all sorts of different things as far as ages, and the way you handle different ages is very, very different. So I'm just going to assume that this is a true puppy and it's like under 16 weeks old. So what I would do is take it really slow. So if I'm giving a dog a bath, and whenever they get upset and they get growly or anything like that, instead of having to correct that dog, because the level of correction needed for a puppy can be intense, and you really don't want to like start off, you do it if you have to, but you don't want to start off thinking, okay, every time there's a bath, every time there's this, we have to behave this way, or we have to correct. So I don't want that to happen. So what I would like you to do, I know our border collie is like nudging his way underneath this, that's why he's laughing. So what I would like you to do is really slow things down to a level that the puppy doesn't mind so much. So really take your time. Also, you can make sure that puppy is hungry. So no food that morning if you're going to bathe them later in the day. If you're going to bathe them in the morning, no food the night before. That way you can get them working. Do some sits, treat, sit, treat, sit, treat. Then go into the bathroom, sit, treat. Come back out, sit, treat. And kind of do that for 10, 15 minutes before you put them in the tub. If it's really bad, like really bad, couple things you can do is have a helper, have someone to help you deal with this. What they can do is they can do this. You still do that prep with the food just to get the puppy's mind working, and someone can be like feeding treats to the dog when the dog starts to like get a little unsure about something before it completely escalates, just as a distraction and to create just something really positive. But you have to go nice and slow. Dogs can be really sensitive to water is coming out too forceful. If it takes you 3 times as long to bathe that dog with barely a sprinkle of water coming out of a shower head, then that's what you've got to do. Or you can just get a pitcher of water. Sometimes those sprayers, they really hate those. You can get a pitcher of water and just slowly use that and then wipe away the soap rather than spraying it out. I mean, there's just a lot of little things you can do to make that experience better for the dog. And then here's the thing though, as far as the treats goes, the dog really escalates, you don't use food, because that'll just get him more hyped up and accidentally reward him for something that you don't want. Use a pet corrector. I don't have one sitting here, do I? No. Pet corrector is, you can get it at, no, it's up there, I see it now. You can get it at Amazon, or you can get it at a pet store. It's just a red can, it squirts out air. And you just do it really short and quick, just a firm no, and then let the puppy settle. The puppy's gonna be like, oh my God, what was that, most likely. And just give them a minute to settle, slowly start to go in again, but try not to get them to escalate again and just keep correcting. As far as the vet issue, I'm curious how bad he is and how old he is. Really curious. But if it's pretty bad, you've got to muzzle condition him. I mean, you cannot have a puppy who is getting so uncomfortable that he's actually biting pretty hard as a warning. That is such a bad premise for a puppy, because he learns that he can do that to humans when he's uncomfortable at such a young age. So even if he throws a fit, if he's at least muzzled, he can't physically put his mouth on someone. But you do need to muzzle condition him. There's lots of videos on YouTube about that. I don't have one, but there's lots of videos on YouTube on how to muzzle condition a dog or puppy. Now, obviously, with a puppy, you can't like muzzle him and go for a walk. They're going to be like, trying to get it off, even if you do muzzle condition him. But at least it'll help a little bit, and always give that dog a treat. But I mean, for the most part, you've got to work up to your really good place command, really good sits and downs. Lots of build a lot of confidence right now, because that puppy obviously gets insecure really fast and is trying to control his environment through aggression. It's not good news. So you really got to take your time, really hone in on the basic training, waiting at thresholds, being able to lay down for periods of time, and really build that up, because that'll help you when you go to the vet and when you go to these places. When I do training, sometimes I have a clinic that I'll go to, and I'll take the dog to the clinic and we'll sit in the waiting room. So if your vet's close by, you could do that. I'm sure they wouldn't mind. Just taking him, going to the waiting room for 10, 15, 20 minutes and watching a few people come in, work for food, just hanging out in the clinic so he's not always manhandled. And that's about it for now. For now, that's about it. Because here's the thing with the vet is a lot of times they because you can really slow down with the bath process and the toweling off process. You can really slow down with that. But and plus with the towel, it kind of gets in a play mode, so you got to go really slow, and then you can have your pet corrector for biting the towel. And then you can also work on the towel issue separate from the bath issue. I actually have a video. It's I think it's puppy biting and aggression part 2, and we actually work on towels, use basic obedience and food to trump wanting to bite the towel and kill it. So you can also work on that separate. But yeah, sorry, with the vet issue, they can't slow down. They should, but they may not. They may not be like, oh, I'll take my time with the puppy. I'll move my hands slowly, things like that. A lot of times
they're in a hurry. They have other,
Yeah,
people don't like waiting.
And it shouldn't be like that. Not all vets are like that, but perfectly really good vets are just like, I don't have time for this. Rush, rush, rush. Done, one and done. So
especially in the city.
Yeah, especially in the city. So yeah, play around with that. I know that for me, when I take young puppies, or even my little dog Happy, she's 10 years old, but she still hates the vet. She's just the energy of the vet, and she's fine, but she shakes. To make her feel more comfortable, we have such a strong place command with her, built up just through years, obviously. I'll take her bed, and I'll actually take her bed. She's a little dog, so I'll take her bed and sit it on the floor or sit it on the chair next to me, depending on how packed it is, and she'll be more confident because she'll go to her place and lay down. And then instead of standing on that cold, of course when they weigh the dogs that's different, but when they're inspected, instead of being on that cold surface, I brought her bed for years until she was able to cope better. She would even pee when she was really, really young. And a few years of always taking her bed, because they only see the vet like once, twice a year. Yeah. But anyway, those are a few ideas for you. I hope that helps. You can always give me some more information, a little bit more context, and I can help you out a little bit more specifically.
Cool.
Right.
Next question.
I'm going to see you pronounce this.
Jingwen Lao.
Yingwen Lao. It's
Jingwen Lao.
definitely Lao, right? With the Lao.
I'm pretty sure that's right.
Yingwen.
It could be Yingwen.
Yeah.
Jingwen. I think it's Jingwen Lao.
Oh.
Anyway,
It sounds festive.
they write, hi, I recently got a border collie puppy. He's 14 weeks old. I watch a lot of your YouTube videos for training, and we've been having some issues. Well, you did get the most erotic dog in the world, so... I started crate training with him right away, although he's perfectly fine... What are you doing?
Read your question. I'm getting dusty.
Okay. Even though he's perfectly fine getting in a state in the crate relatively relaxed, he whines and barks nonstop as soon as I'm out of sight. I have to put him in his exercise pen when I leave the house. Luckily, he hasn't had any accidents in the pen. He also tries to follow me around the house wherever I go. I'm wondering if this is normal puppy behavior or it's normal border collie behavior. or he's starting to develop separation anxiety. On the other hand, he gets overstimulated on walks. He would dart to greet every man and every dog we encounter. Again, border collie, big time. And he would stop and sniff all kinds of things. I'm thinking of using a slip leash to train him, but I'm concerned he's too young for that. Is there anything that I should be doing instead? Just to clarify, I didn't let him drag me to meet and greet those people and dogs, so sometimes he would just put on the brakes and refuse to move. I wasn't able to walk him very far because of this. Thanks so much for your answer.
Yeah, because he's trying to control the walk. And if you weren't able to walk him very far because of it, then he is controlling the walk. You just taught him that he can completely control the walk. Dusty, he's talking bad about your breed.
Brat.
Yingwen Lao. Oh, I think I did it. I think I said it right. You gotta let me know. I'm always interested in this stuff because I want to make sure it helps me for future names. But Dusty says he doesn't appreciate you talking so bad about his breed because everything you mentioned is typical for
Border collie.
the breed, isn't it? All right, get off me now. No more spoiling. No more spoiling. Get back. Go all the way down. I love how even he lays down. Like, he never lays down like a normal dog. He either puts his butt in the air for a few seconds and then slowly goes down, or he perfectly, all four limbs, go down at the same time. Okay, so anyway, I love border collies. I love Aussies. That's one of the reasons I love German Shepherds. They're my herding dogs are my favorite series of dog. Okay, so here's the thing. Border collies are tough, man. I mean, he's a 14-week-old dog. He's even older now. Slip leash, psh, forget a slip leash. Get a prong collar on that puppy and train him up to behave, because he's already controlling you in so many different ways, and he's only 14 to 18 weeks old now, which is just, it's Bad News Bears. It is Bad News Bears.
Good movie.
I actually don't remember the movie, I just remember the saying, but I'm sure it's good. But here's the thing, you can do two things. I don't know how much experience you have, so I don't want to pick on you, but I'm going to pick on you. Everything you're saying is so typical of a border collie. I'm wondering how much you know about border collies. Border collies are like one of the top 3-4 toughest breeds to have. No joke. So I'm just wondering how much you know about the breed and about training. So that gives me a red flag. It's like in my head I'm like, alert, 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 because I'm like, oh man, this guy, he doesn't know what he's in for. So I'm not trying to scare you, but I'm just trying to just let you know that you gotta wake up, man. You got a border collie. So here's the thing. I'm trying to address everything you went over. You need to look up, if you don't have a lot of experience or zero experience, I want you to go on Amazon and I want you to type in training collar, or type in maybe a plastic prong collar. I call it a puppy prong. So I usually use it for dogs under 12 weeks old, under 14 weeks old, with newer owners, because it's not as strong feeling, I guess, as a regular prong. But yeah, you gotta use a prong collar. So I want you to go on Amazon, I want you to look that up, and then I want you to go on YouTube, and I want you to type in Tyler Muto prong collar 1 and prong collar 2. 1 is gonna explain to you what a prong collar is, why it is an excellent training tool, even though it looks really scary. Because you're gonna put a slip leash on that border collie, it's probably just gonna choke itself out. It's gonna learn to pull even more. You're not gonna teach it how to give into pressure like you're supposed to know, and it could be bad. I mean, unless you have one of the few low-key border collies, it could be bad. So Tyler Muto, M-U-T-O, prong collar 1, prong collar 2. Watch those videos tonight, or as soon as you get off work.
And so you know, when the breeders, a lot of times they'll say, "Oh, it's a low energy border collie." There is no such thing. Like
with our border collie, he's a quiet. He's a rescue, and on his bio it said medium level energy for a border collie. Okay, so that should give you an idea. Not for a dog. For a border collie. Okay, so it should give you an idea of what you're dealing with. Just hundreds of years of instincts. Oh yeah, will you reset him? He's confused. What an old guy here. Come here. Come on. Okay, so that's one thing addressed, and here's the thing about him wanting to greet everybody. Border Collies have two modes. They're either a little bit distant, like a little bit like, I'm not sure. Is it looking okay? Check on it. He was just readjusting. He says, I'm old, just moving. They're a little bit distant. They can be a little bit territorial by nature, or they're obsessive compulsive to control everybody they see. You know? So because he's venturing out and being so bold, Border Collies are nippers by nature, and when they get excited, they will learn to say hello by nipping people, and you do not want that to happen. So that's just going to come with training. You got to use a prong collar. You got to get him focused on you. You got to be his world and create that energy. Will you stop laughing at poor
I'm not.
Ewan?
When you said nipping, saying hello, just reminded me of when I was a kid. My grandparents had an all black, solid black Border Collie, and my uncle on my mom's side was a sheriff's deputy, and he came over to visit my grandparents, my dad's side, and as soon as he got out of the car, it like went crazy. It was very protective and territorial, and it jumped up and bit my uncle, and luckily he had the billfold in his back pocket because that's what it got. And it latched on and broke the pants and everything.
That's not territorial. That's aggressive.
So
territorial means they give alarm barks, they're cautious, but you can settle them down.
well, see, I grew up on a farm in the South, so they didn't really care about that kind of stuff happening. You know, they really didn't. The dogs were just free to just go and do what they wanted to do. So it was funny, from someone that's not getting bit watching it. So it's kind of funny.
Not funny. Anyway.
But yeah,
it's a useful story, Chris.
Yeah,
it's a really useful story.
It just reminded me how great Border Collies are.
Anyway, just to give you a really quick example, I just got a call from someone who they have a Border Collie that's progressively gotten worse at just being mouthy and nippy, and he's actually started to make contact with people, and they took him to herding classes thinking they just needed to nurture that part of him and the other part would go away, and it made it 10 times worse. That's because they, instead of doing herding, but also doing lots of control and calming exercises, they just did the herding, so it made it 10 times worse. So you gotta squash, that behavior to wanna, go to every little thing. And honestly, that's pretty much every puppy, but Border Collies, Jack Russell Terriers, German Shepherds, they have like a whole special level of nuts.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the other thing I want to address is stay in crate, hasn't had any accidents in the pen. Oh, the following you around the house. Well, this is what makes me think maybe, I don't know, maybe you don't know much about the breed, or you just, maybe just haven't seen this, is because when people talk about Border Collies, that's one of the, top 3 to 5 things that they say is that, if you like going to the bathroom alone, don't get a Border Collie. And it's true, that's instinctual for them. They're watching you, they're taking care of you. You're their family, so you're what they herd.
Their flock.
You're their flock, which is bad. That you can't be the Border Collie's flock.
No.
So you have to teach him to be able to be alone and be able to be separate. Everybody goes through issues with the puppy whining in the crate and stuff like that, but you got to ride it out.
You're gonna take care of this now. Then later on, if you have kids, it will be hurting your kids.
Oh my God. And not leaving them alone. And yes, they will absolutely create separation anxiety really bad.
They'll even nip at your kids to get them to go a certain way.
Oh yeah, and that's common. That's common, yeah. So you have to teach. Go ahead, go to my videos, start looking at my videos for training. You've watched a lot of my videos, so you need to be working on place and down, waiting at thresholds, watch the Tyler Muto videos that I mentioned, and that's like your whole world right now.
This is not to scare you about Border Collies. Border Collies are one of the most amazing. They're my favorite breed.
Yeah, but the smarter they are, the more difficult they are to have.
Yeah, but they learn so quickly.
But
they also learn bad behaviors very quickly too.
Just as fast. They'll learn bad. Yeah, so, anybody will learn bad behaviors quicker than good behaviors. Yeah. And well, that goes quadruple for Border Collies. Quadruple. I mean, just to give you an idea, our Border Collie's great. He's off-leash trained. He's great when people come over. He's just could not have asked for another better dog after our German Shepherd died. But like over Christmas last year, we were a little bit more lax with him as far as how much freedom, because we can't give him full freedom. He'll get neurotic. So with how much freedom we gave him in the house, and it was literally only like a week or two of extra freedom. And now, if we, and not now, but after Christmas, when we would start to be like, no, you have to wait, buddy, what's your problem? He'd like be so confused, and it'd make him anxious. And it's because we weren't consistent.
Yeah.
Border Collies make you be consistent. Relatively relaxed. Whines and barks when I'm out of his sight. Okay, so a few things you can do with that. First of all, doing everything else I mentioned will filter into the crate issue. The other thing is you need just a good firm no, smack on the crate, and walk out of the room, no emotion. Oh, I know, it's okay.
He's
like, what? He was under the table, yeah. Down. Good boy. And the other thing you can do is get a pet corrector. You can go on Amazon or in a pet store, Amazon.com. It's just a red bottle. It squirts out air, and you can go in there and just say a firm no, squirt, and walk away. No emotion. Keep it clean and cool. And that may not even be enough. There's some other things you can do, but I already gave you so much.
Depending on where you're at, too, let Bethany know where you live. It may be worth looking into getting a well-balanced trainer.
Yeah, that's true too. If you're, I think he said, no, he hasn't looked into training. That was someone else. So yeah, definitely let me know where you are if you want to look for a trainer, and I'll give you some ideas. But yeah, you got to get on top of this. This dog by now, because I'm so late in answering my questions, is like 18 weeks old now. So yeah, you got to get on it, man. Get on it.
Moving on.
Wait, Yingwen, do you think that's a woman? I'm so sorry if I've been talking to a woman this whole time. I think I've said like 3 or 4 times.
It's okay. When I'm talking to, your friends, your girlfriend, I'm like, hey, it's okay, man.
You do not.
I'm trying to help you.
Let me know also. Yeah. Okay.
Moving on.
Hope that helps.
Next question is from Megan, which I'm sure is a woman.
Megan, yes,
yeah,
definitely.
So we know that for sure. Megan Elizabeth, she says, I also have a dog that barks and paws at the crate when I get out of sight. He has a solid crate command to enter the crate and will stay there peacefully. But things go south if I leave the room, especially if he thinks I'm going to leave the house. He eventually quiets down, but getting there is stressful for both of us. Any advice?
Yes, advice. I'm curious how old your dog is, but yeah, you just need a good no, solid no. First of all, I'm curious as to what you've tried. You can try Pet Corrector, which is a squirt of air. It comes in a red can. You can get it on Amazon.com or a pet store, and you can just if you're home and just do a good firm no spray. And really quick spray, aim towards the chest in the crate and walk away. You could just be like no and wrap on top of the crate really firmly. And then on top of, actually correcting the bad behavior, you can also play music at a speaking level, not low and soft jazz. I mean at a speaking level, so that way the dog doesn't like finally settle down and then hear a noise and get all worked up again, because they're focused on listening to you leave and pick up keys, in their crate, watching shadows under the door. So if the dog doesn't chew on stuff, you could put something over the crate. Unless you don't have central air and it's a hot environment, you can put something over the crate and then play music or TV at a firm speaking level to help just desensitize the outside noise that your dog focuses on. Even do it when you're home too, so you can move around and it's not so bad. And then the other thing you can do on top of that is crate the dog when, work on a session with the crate when you're not necessarily going to crate the dog, which is just patterning in and out. You said you got a good crate command. But does crate just mean go in there and wait, or does it mean go in there and lay down? So what you can do, and I've got some recent videos of this with Kingston, a little chihuahua, on my Facebook page, is you can go crate, down, break, crate, down, break, down, crate, down, break, down, crate, down, break, down, over and over like 10, 20, 30 times. And that's a session. You can use food if you want, but especially if it's a younger puppy, you might want to use food, but use it really, really low key. It's just good. Feed the food, really mellow, really low key. And do that. You can also do that to settle the dog before you crate the dog. Even when you get home and the dog's like, yes, finally human home, make him pattern. Once he gets good at it in other contexts, make him pattern. Settle him down a bit before you take him out. Another really important thing is leash this dog up inside the crate. Don't even so if he's waiting when you open the door, that's great, but does he bolt out and run and yay, I'm free and let's go for a walk? Leash him up in the crate, make him come out calmly. Wait at the threshold of the bedroom door or whatever, the den, wherever he's at. Really slow him down. Lots of little things like that you can totally do. If you'd like more specifics or some more ideas, let me know, and let me know how it goes.
Moving on. Next question is from Patrick O'Brien. Patrick writes, Bethany, I have a 9-month-old golden doodle that seems to have forgotten everything I've trained her in the past months. Sits when she would like, does down very slowly, stays as long as there are no distractions, and loves to pull on the leash. In an attempt to correct these actions, I have brought her crate out. She wasn't in one for a month, and bought a slip leash. So far, so good. She also has some self-esteem issues, at least in my view. She gets scared by trash bags, cardboard boxes, soccer balls, loud noises, takes a very long time to warm up to dogs, and will just roll on her belly when playing with them. Let's see. Also, since I have come back from vacation, she only eats bits and pieces. She only eats bits and pieces and won't eat an entire meal unless I leave the bowl out for several hours. My correction to eating the issue has been to leave it for 20 minutes and then remove the bowl. She seems to be figuring it out. I reached out to trainers near me for pricing, but it's not feasible. If you have any insight or training, I should attempt to help her out. I would appreciate the help. Love the videos, by the way. Thanks, Patrick.
Okay, Patrick, really typical 9-month-old golden doodle starting to forget everything. That is really par for the course. I mean, it really is.
They're not forgetting.
They're not forgetting. They're just teenagers now. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, I can't imagine a 9-month-old golden doodle on anything but a slip leash or a prong collar. I would move to prong right away. Not a puppy plastic prong, a real prong collar. Go check out Tyler Muto, M-U-T-O. Tyler Muto Prong Collar 1 if you don't know anything about prong collars. They look really scary, but they are the best tool for your dog, especially if you have a dog that pulls, because it doesn't put any direct pressure on the trachea, makes it uncomfortable to pull. And then Prong Collar 2, which actually walks you through all the steps using food, teaching your dog what pressure means, all that good stuff. That's what I would do right away, because that's also going to build confidence. Also, once you do, because that's foundation work. What I just mentioned is foundation work. And the other thing I would do is teach your golden doodle a really strong place command if you haven't already. Because here's the thing, if he's blowing you off on commands, how do you correct him? I mean, you shouldn't be using food anymore to lure unless you're in like a brand new setting for motivation. That's fine, but just at home, you shouldn't be using that. That becomes bribery. That becomes, I will do it if you have food. So that dog needs to be corrected. And I don't see how you would do that on anything but a slip leash, but you have to be so firm with the slip leash, and you don't with a prong. At least you shouldn't be if you've done your foundation work for little stuff like that. So if I teach a place command, my dog and I tether him, my dog gets like a couple steps off place. He can't go any further than that because he's tethered. I just say a firm no, get up, pop the prong collar, put him back into place. You create an inhibition to keep blowing your commands off, basically. So that's the first thing I would do. And what you'll find is that stuff really helps with the insecurity. Because you go for a walk, you don't just correct bad behavior. You don't just correct pulling and things like that. You also correct fear stuff. Because you've got to trump the fear, right? You've got to say, no, I don't care if you're scared. We're walking in heel position. I can take care of your environment. You don't need to be concerned about your environment. See that guy over there? See that ball? Hear that noise? It's okay. I got you. I got this. And without that confidence as an owner and building trust through that kind of respect and that kind of relationship, without that, she'll always be fearful. Always. So the point that I make is, like, I just had a video on my YouTube page of my Facebook page of a go home session with Clyde the Cane Corso. So being barked at makes him nervous. He was very, very dog aggressive on leash. I mean, just out of control on leash. It was unbelievable. They could not handle him. 2 really rough days I had with him before I got him into that good space. So once I settled him down from being the aggressor, barking would make him and speed up. And I would correct him for that too. No, you stay with me no matter what. And then that just makes them go, oh, okay. And then once you correct that behavior of, oh my God, a soccer ball, or oh my God, this, or shooting forward, no, heel.
Oh my God, a butterfly.
Once you correct that and get them in a good space, then you can build confidence. Then you can see the soccer ball, and instead of bolting, he won't bolt because he doesn't want to be corrected. He won't bolt, but he still looks like this, scary bag or whatever. Then you can bring out the food. Sit good, little closer to it. Sit good. Do recalls. Recalls are great for building confidence off of things that scare dogs. So it's like he sees the soccer ball and he does this, and you back up on a 6-foot lead. Dog's name, come, move backwards. Yes, sit good, food. But you can't do that till he stops like pulling from side to side or some, stuff like that. So my point is, all these things, they feed into each other. They're a cycle. So they can snowball out of control or stay stagnant, but they usually snowball. If they stay stagnant, that's usually encouragement, and it'll get worse and worse, especially 9-month-old, really impressionable teenager age, it'll get worse. So you want to cap that. And as you go, instead of snowballing bad, you snowball in the right direction. But you've got to take care of the pulling issue and the blowing you off in the house and the down very slow. I mean, that's all normal, and it's not going to go away overnight. 9-month-old, you've still got another year of adolescence to deal with. But
that's a golden doodle. You got about another 10 years.
Golden doodles, yeah. They tend to never grow up. But it gives you some ideas. If you want any more help, let me know. I only got a few minutes. Let's punch out these last 2.
All right.
Go.
Next question is from someone. Jonathan. Okay. Jonathan writes, hi, Bethany. Firstly, thank you so much for the videos you post. My partner and I have just got a 9-week-old German Shepherd. This is the 4th night with us. We have been using all your videos to start getting him used to the crate, food, and our home. Also starting working on some markers, sit, etc.
Great.
We started him off with your intro to the crate, throwing treats in and marking him. Marking
him going in.
Marking him going in with a yes, and he goes in without no real problems. But I think we may have rushed into closing the door too quickly, which has caused him to pant quite fast, whine a little, shift his laying position a lot in the crate. He'll sleep in the crate for around 1.5-2 hours. But we're worried that he is developing an anxiety and isn't really too comfortable in the crate. We practice blocking him when he tries to leave the crate until we can walk to the other side of the room with the door open, and he stays in the crate. But he's still panting a lot and acting unsettled.
Okay.
Should we let him sleep with the crate door open and an X pin around so that he can't get out when he likes? Should we be allowing him to have naps outside the crate during the day time, or always in the crate? We aren't at work for the next 7 weeks. Oh, great. So we aren't leaving him on his own yet at all. We'll increase this gradually over time. Any advice you could give would be great. Would be very much appreciated, as we're feeling a little bit overwhelmed and don't want to damage our relationship with our dog by pushing him too much too early. Do you do Skype sessions?
I do, but listen to this first and try it, and then if you're still struggling, we'll go from there, because it's hard for me to schedule Skype sessions. I'm not trying to push you off, but yeah, if you after you listen to my response and you still want a Skype session, let me know. Here's the thing, you guys are like, you and your partner. So you guys are like acting like you have kid gloves when dealing with this German Shepherd. This is a German Shepherd. You cannot act like you got kid gloves. So I'm not sure what videos you've watched, if you've seen all the crate videos or maybe just the intro to the crates, which is like with a little pug, which is like literally it's just an exercise, right? It's like intro, it's like day 1. All right, and then at night you move on very quickly. So here's the thing. Yes, during the day, I don't want you to get a puppy and then people go to work and leave their dog all day before they know if they're ready. It's good to get it on a weekend. But this sounds like you've been working on this for a while, and you definitely have by now, because I'm so late getting this Q&A out. So no, you an hour and a half in the crate. I'm sorry, I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this. I haven't had an hour and a half in the crate. No, you just slam the door on that puppy, and he just stays in there all night. And for a 9-week-old puppy, he should be able to be in there 4 hours easily before he needs a potty. So that shouldn't be a problem, unless your crate is like giant size for who he's gonna be rather than who he is right now, which is a little guy. So make sure you have the right crate size, just enough room to get up, turn around, lay down, and stretch a little. That's it. It's the only room you should have. So if you've got a giant crate, you should have got a divider with it. And if not, see if you can get one of those.
So are they talking about him sleeping throughout the night, or are they talking about like during the day?
Well, they said through the night. He sleeps he'll sleep in the crate for around an hour and a half to 2 hours.
It doesn't say night though.
Oh, it doesn't say night. You're right. So that might be during the day.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out. Okay, so if it's during the day, that sounds about right. I mean, 2 hours. But here's the thing: what do you mean he naps for an hour to 2 hours? Do you mean that he gets up and starts whining and barking, and then you go and let him out? Because that doesn't make sense. That means you're creating more anxiety, because he wakes up and says, "Hello, I'm awake," and then you go in and let him out, because you don't want to do that, because that teaches him to stay awake and it teaches him how to control his family, because every time he whines, you come and let him out. So I want to make sure you're not doing that. So let's assume you're not doing that. Now, it doesn't mean that if your dog is whining that you can't let him out of the crate. You absolutely can, but I just want to make sure he's not like, "Hey guys, I'm awake, come and get me," because that will create a lot of anxiety. So the other part of this is all I need you guys to do is just leave him in there for an hour and make sure he doesn't freak out. And if he's not freaking out as far as like biting the crate and stuff like that, then you're fine to leave him in there longer. You don't have to spend, a long time getting him adjusted. It's just important. I've had a lot of people just put their dogs and their puppies in the crate and go to work and come back sometimes even all day, and they're so surprised the mess that's there, or even just a few hours, and they never tested it out. Once you test out that theory over like a weekend, she should be good to go. So I want to make sure that you saw the second puppy crate training video, which is just to that dog tries to get out and bam, he's not allowed to. I think that you guys might just be too hands-on with him. Like if he's getting anxiety this quickly, like panting fast, whining, shifting, and you guys are really focused on that, he might just be getting too much attention from you. So yeah, I think this is something that I wouldn't mind talking with you guys a little bit more specifically about. Practice blocking him when he tries to leave the crate. Don't block him anymore. I mean, this is a German Shepherd, so he's already going to be pretty decent size. Just be very clear with the crate door. I mean, he tries to come out, bam, and it needs to be a good slam to where it makes him go, "Okay, I understand," because you use spatial pressure with the crate.
Sure.
Right on his little nose. I mean, this is not a little, Chihuahua. This is a German Shepherd. You're not raising a puppy. You're raising a dog. You gotta look at it like that. So you guys might just be too hands-on. I would also cut affection out completely for the next few weeks. 0 affection. And put him on a really strict schedule. You go out in the morning, you do some work with him, he eats, he goes back in crate for 2 to 3 hours. You let him out to potty, maybe a little bit of play with a toy if he likes play. And then back in crate, 3 to 4 hours, or, you can build up to 3 to 4 hours, but at least 2 to 3. And cut out affection completely, because affection, lots of this with a puppy can create, especially with herding dogs, especially with German Shepherds who are herding and protective dogs, they can create like a really bad attachment to you really quickly. So that's what I would start with, and let me know if you need anything else. All right.
Cool.
Last question. We're gonna have to wait and do this when I come back.
Okay.
I gotta go. Hi. So we had to take a quick break because I had a cavity. That's probably gonna have to be a root canal. So I have a very grouchy face because I'm not very happy.
A little bit of a slurred speech there.
Yeah, and I'm trying to make sure I don't bite the side of my mouth. So, who are you? Maria? So it's the grouchy face is not you. It's because I just had my cavity filled.
Oh.
Alright.
Oh, okay. This is Maria. Alright, Maria has a dog named Chloe.
Yeah, you skipped the last name. It's okay.
Maria Sulimanova. Sulimanova.
Are you trying to do an accent as well? You have no idea where that's
No,
from.
Sulimanova. That's it. So this is Maria Sulimanova. I said it correctly. Probably didn't. Maria writes.
Chloe, 2.5.
Oh yeah, Chloe is a 2.5-month-old Labrador blue heeler mix.
Alright, so that's, there you go.
Alright. She writes, "Hi, I've been looking at your YouTube videos recently and the dogs you train are incredible. I recently got a puppy, 2 days old, and her behavior was alright at first, but it seems to be getting worse and worse very quickly. She growls, bites, chases feet, chases and jumps on blankets, and she runs up and down the hallway throwing her pee pads and stuff around. She is showing a lot of aggression and hyperactivity, and it is starting to frighten me. Overall, she is very sweet and understands when we are angry, but this behavior is intolerable. I've done the exercises where when the puppy starts biting, you either stop moving and look away until they calm down, or squeal and walk away.
Do the squeal. Like she goes,
oh yeah, oh she does it herself, yeah. And I also pet her when she does something good and when she does something bad.
Did you read that right?
I don't think I read that right. I also pet her when she does something good and when she does something bad.
I either say no or stop.
Oh, I either say no or stop.
You're a horrible assistant.
I am. Sorry, I'm getting... These tips worked a little bit of the time, but the bites and growls seem to be getting more frequent and stronger, and I don't know what to do anymore. I wanted to train her well, but I don't know where to start. Please help.
Okay, Maria. I don't want to sound...
Move your hand.
No.
Don't move your hand?
It feels better if I put pressure on my jaw. It hurts because I had to have
Okay.
the extra anesthesia. So I don't mean this to sound meaner than I intend, but I don't think you're watching my videos. If you look at my videos on biting and growling, there's not the squealing, and I don't do the look away. What are you doing?
Turn off the air.
Oh, that's a good idea.
They can hear you.
So they can hear me better. It's probably hard to understand me as it is. I apologize. Ow, don't make me smile. Oh, my poor jaw. I gotta take some Advil. So here's the thing. All right, I'm gonna wake up. I'm gonna get right in this. Okay. Chases, jumps on blankets. Okay, so this is what I need you to do. 2.5 months old. What is that? It's 10 weeks. I got this a couple weeks ago, so she's like 12 weeks old now. It's a Labrador blue heeler mix, decent sized dog. I want you to go to Tyler Muto, MUTO, prong collar 1, prong collar 2. Get that dog on a prong collar. I know it's young. I start prong collar training at 12 weeks. With owners that are brand new with very little experience or no experience with slip leashes and corrections and stuff, I might suggest a plastic prong to start with, and when you get comfortable with that, if you want, you can move on to it. This is a regular prong. I know it looks scary, but it's actually designed this way so it's uncomfortable when the dog pulls and they calm down. They really do. And it doesn't put any direct pressure on the trachea, which is bad. But you got a big dog. You got to leverage that head. You got to calm that dog down. I mean, a Labrador heeler mix is going to be a nutcase if you don't. I mean, everything you're saying is pretty typical. No. I have a pit bull, and I picked up that's his, and he's excited. He's like, why aren't we going for a walk? So I want you to look that up, and if you don't want to use the regular prong, the Tyler Muto prong collar 1 explains to you why it's such a fantastic training tool, and I wouldn't use anything else on a dog over 14 weeks old. 12, 14 weeks old. But you can start with a puppy prong. You can go on Amazon, type in training collar or plastic prong, maybe, P-R-O-N-G, and you'll get a plastic prong. It's much, much more gentle, and I recommend that for newer handlers to this tool, or just people new to having dogs in general, new to puppies, because it's more gentle. You can make more mistakes, you know, basically. So here's the thing. I think this dog needs a strict schedule as far as, you know, out in the morning, constructive walk, working on obedience. You're training a dog, not a puppy. So you need to have, you know, don't give the dog, I'm all over the place, whew. Don't give the dog its breakfast, and use its breakfast on the walk in the morning, or treats if it needs treats, but try to just do kibble. And work it. It's a working dog. Good God, Labrador Heeler mix. That's a working dog. So work that puppy. It'll help teach it focus, help it settle down. Waiting at thresholds. I got videos on that. Waiting at the door in the crate. I got videos on that. One of the best calming techniques you can do is patterning. So by patterning, you can pattern the door. I've got a prong collar video on how to pattern the door to teach a dog to wait at a threshold. You do it with a puppy just on a much more gentler, lower key level. You can use a little blocking rather than patterning. But patterning settles the dog down, so you teach a dog place. I've got two, oh, I forgot about this. So you may have already seen these, but I got two videos on their calming videos. I think they're in my puppy playlist section. If not, they're just in the normal stuff. But it's literally two ways with how to pattern crate and how to pattern place command to calm down your puppy. So please look that up. In fact, let me make a note of this. I'm gonna link those two videos down in below in the information section. So even if you're on your phone, you should be able to click the more info and click on that link. Calming links, and it's with a puppy, a little bit older puppy, but still. So I know that it won't be as clean because your puppy, the patterning won't be as clean as this puppy because your puppy's younger, but you can still work on it, like work up to it. Yeah, you got to get this dog to learn how to turn it on and turn it off. And I feel like maybe this dog's getting too much attention, too much affection. So I really want you to clean up your act, and what I mean by that is look at this dog. Since you're having trouble, look at this dog like you're a trainer, right? So you're on a schedule. So it's out for the walk, crate for 2 hours. Out for 15 minutes of play, crate for 3 hours. Or of course, if you go to work, that dog better be having a break in the middle of the day with a dog walker or a neighbor, and then you go on some sort of schedule at night. Constructive walk, crate for 2 hours. 15 minutes of working on place, command, and down, crate for 1 hour. Waiting for the food bowl. I got videos on all this stuff. It's all about slowing the dog's brain down. Just slowing it down, stopping at thresholds, and just all these little things. So that's just the basics, right? That's not even really diving into the behavioral stuff. Oh God, I'm trying not to smile. The tossing around the puppy pads, oh, it makes me laugh. It's a typical puppy thing. That's not uncommon. He's just getting a little too out of control, a little too much fun with it. Our little dog Happy used to do that. It's a cute, fun behavior for them.
She still grabs tissues.
She's 9 years old, and she still grabs tissues if we leave them laying around. Bad dog. But yeah, I mean, little stuff like that is normal. But I'm kind of, I don't know. I'm kind of confused. He should have at least his first round of shots. So why does he have puppy pads? I mean, he's going to be a big dog. You do not want, I don't know if it's a male or a female, she. So it is a female at least, but it's a big dog. It's not going to be going potty in the house. So it should already have its first round of boosters, maybe even its second. There should be no puppy pads. It should be going outside. To potty.
At this point.
Yeah, it should be going outside for potty training. The only exception is if it spends several hours in a crate during the day, like maybe more than 3, then yeah, I can understand layering the crate with puppy pads, and she's gonna chew them up. That's not a big deal. So I guess I just don't, she shouldn't have access to grabbing puppy pads and running around with them. Blankets and stuff, it's the same thing. She just sees them as a toy. Now the growling and biting and chasing feet. I just bit my lip. poor Maria. I feel bad for Maria having to deal with me. So
in case you can't understand what she just said because she's slurring her words, she feels bad you're having to deal with her right now.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really thought I could like bust this out because you're the last question that I couldn't get to before my appointment. Okay, so that's just the basic stuff. So now let's talk about addressing the bad behavior, because these things really concern me at her young age. So she shouldn't have free roaming capabilities in the house, and that's not just because you're having issues with her. That goes for any puppy under 5-6 months old. There should be no free roaming. She could have an accident, she could get into stuff and create bad habits, chew on the furniture, chew on the side of the couch. Everything should be her life should be very structured, just as if you had a kid, a toddler or something running around. That's what creates the good behavior. And when you cut the affection out, when there's not, or cut it down drastically, like only a little bit affection maybe when you're working with her, is because that affection pumps her up, it gets her excited, it keeps her from being able to focus. I just spit on myself. So that's part of it, but you need to prevent these bad behaviors as much as you can. So I'm trying to think of the last puppy we had here. Large breed puppy was actually Lucy, I think, that German Shepherd. So we were she was a little bit older than this dog, and we were giving her little bouts of free time to kind of just see how she was doing and what her instincts were. But she still dragged around a leash on just a slip leash.
You can correct if you need to.
Yeah, so that way if she does start to chew on something or get into something, I don't have to go over and grab her and be forceful. Is that outside? Oh, okay. Sorry, outside noises. So I don't have to grab her and be forceful or get upset or say no and hope that she stops. I have a leash, right? So I can just grab the end of the leash and just say no, give her a little pop, not like a big correction, but just a little cue, and get her attention and redirect her back to place command or her bed or whatever the case is. But again, just to be super clear, she shouldn't be having any free time, especially, it's getting worse very quickly. That really bothers me. So I think she's just no free time and no affection, not forever. I mean, just maybe for a few weeks, and really focus on her training till you kind of get a handle, and then gradually add in physical affection. Physical affection is so huge. I mean, it completely, when you pull affection from a dog and just teach them their boundaries and rules, and positive reinforcement is through training, and you bond with them on a respectful trust level rather than a lovey-dovey trust level. It really clears their heads, and you will get a different puppy. I can promise you that, when you add the structure, the schedule, and pull the affection. So your affection is through food. So yes, good dog, food rather than pet. So he'll start respecting you more, stuff like that. Finally, when it does actually happen, because it doesn't just magically go away, when it does actually happen, the biting, you need to correct this dog. I know it's a puppy, but you still need to correct her. She's out of control. So what I'd like you to do is go on Amazon and get a pet corrector, and or you can go to a pet store and get it too. It comes in a red can. It's just a squirt of air. And don't aim for the face. Try to aim for the upper body, the shoulder area, or the chest. And so if it gets really bad, and she should be on a leash, but if it gets really bad, say she's got free time and she's dragging around a leash, and yes, she'll chew on it, that's normal, don't buy a fancy leash, and she goes after your foot or growls, bites, chases feet, something like that, you can just kind of step on the end of the leash, no, shh, and the puppy will likely freak. A lot of them do. They're like, oh my god, what was that? And they just kind of, and you just walk away. But you want to redirect them to something else, play, going for a walk, a bone, or back to crate. Again, no free roaming. They shouldn't have free roaming that early. I think that's about it for now. Oh, if you watch that prong collar series, and you get the plastic prong, which I think is under training collar on Amazon.com, start with that, and then you can move on to prong later on if you want. But that will also make a huge difference. It will absolutely, when you work her through it, it'll absolutely settle her down significantly. So you, even though you're going to use the plastic prong, I call them puppy prongs, the plastic prong, you do the same technique as in Tyler Muto's videos. It's all about food and redirection and teaching the dog how to follow your lead rather than fight against you. And she is still a puppy, so yeah, you can't expect a lot from her, but you can absolutely expect her to calm down and to stop these bad behaviors. The techniques you're using, the squealing and the looking away, they typically only work with smaller breed dogs and definitely not over 8 weeks old. Sometimes when dogs hit that 8-10 week old mark, they get very driven very quickly, surprisingly quickly. So yeah, those little things with really submissive dogs, they might work like around the 12-week mark, but not usually. So it's not just you. It's not that you're doing those things wrong. They just don't work after a certain point. That's like what you do the first couple of days, and then if the dog is still blowing you off, you move on, just to something else, because that just means it's a more driven dog. And the hyperactivity, it won't get through the hyperactivity. What you'll start to see possibly happen is if she goes to bite your feet, if she goes to bite your feet and you just ignore her, and she stops because you're not engaging with her, instead she'll go and bite something else. She'll go rip up a blanket because you didn't correct her and settle her down. You just ignored her. And if you ignore it, you're not teaching her. So yeah, I think that's where I'm at. Did I cover everything?
I think so.
All right, Maria, I hope that helps.
That is the end of the questions. And now we are moving on to the quote of the day.
The quote of the day.
The quote of the day is brush your teeth.
I brush my teeth. I have really bad teeth. So I floss and brush, and I have a fancy toothbrush like nobody's business. So you shut your face. I take way better care of my teeth than he does, and he's never had a cavity, ever. And I've got 3 root canals, and this one's going to turn into a root canal, he told me.
I didn't tell you, the dentist did.
Don't pick on me, I'm in pain.
The quote of the day is, there will always be... Blah, blah, blah. I think I've had my injection with the antihistamine. Anesthesia.
Stop making me laugh.
Sorry.
Say your quote.
The quote of the day is, there will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you.
Oh, that's so nice. There will always be someone who can't see your worth. Don't let it be you. Yeah, I think... it doesn't matter if you're an entrepreneur or if you go to a regular job. Everybody can pick out your flaws. And no one can pick out your flaws better than you or your spouse. But that can really, really bog you down.
It can. There's things that you want to do in life, and you're always going to have those people that are around you that are always going to tear you down. Those are obviously the people you don't want to surround yourself with.
Yeah.
If you find yourself in that situation, it's fine. It's time to find new friends, people that are going to lift you up and encourage you.
But I mean, honestly, you gotta be responsible for it yourself too.
You can't. Do it. Just because somebody tells you you can't do something,
everybody will tell you that.
Everyone's going to tell you to do it because everyone wants you to play it safe. But just don't ever think that you can't do something. So like later years on the road, you'll look back and you'll have regrets because you never tried.
Well, I think it's about focusing on what you can do. I mean, I think it's great trying to improve yourself. I think that's important, and I do. I think that's very important. I think we don't have enough of that just as people, trying to improve ourselves as human beings. But you also got to focus on what you're awesome at and hone in on that,
You need to know your strengths and know what your weaknesses are.
Yeah.
And you build on those strengths. Obviously, we need to fix our weaknesses as well. Work on those as much as possible, but your strengths are usually, in my opinion, a God-given gift, and you need to work on those strengths and focus on them and develop those strengths, and
be successful.
You'll have. the opportunities will be endless. So.
I think so too.
Yep.
All right, guys.
Awesome.
I hope you enjoyed the show. I would smile, but it's painful, and I'm not gonna. So we will see you literally next week. I swear. We will see you next week for another Q&A. This is number 15.
16.
16. This is number 16. Have a good weekend, everyone. What is today? Wednesday. Have a good hump day.
It probably won't be Wednesday when they see it, though.
Yeah, I'm going to post it right now.
Okay. Adios.